Welcome to another co-video, this time with Sergei Makhmodov, the founding director of DaXtra Technologies. Welcome to co-video, Sergei.
Hi, Charles. How are you?
I'm very well. Of course, here in Victoria, in Melbourne, we're in and out of lockdown, and when things are looking good, they seem to turn. But of course, I understand in Hong Kong that there hasn't necessarily been a lockdown. Has that been good or bad for the world of digital and IT, and how's the staffing industry coping there, mate?
Well, yes, that's right. I'm based in Hong Kong. In terms of the lockdown, strictly speaking, we haven't had one, but obviously this is the global pandemic, so we've been affected quite severely as well here in terms of the markets and so on, restrictions.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've seen a lot of uptake of new technologies, digital, automation and otherwise. Are you seeing an uptick in the interest in DaXtra as a result of that and the, I guess, pushing most of the rest of the world onto digital platforms, mate?
I would say so, because obviously historically and throughout our 19-year history, we've been focusing on intelligent process automation solutions, and so that is probably as relevant as never before now, because workforces have shrunk and processes need to carry on, and this kind of technology definitely helps. So yes, there is an uptake of interest in that.
Yeah, great. For the totally uneducated, why would you say it's important for those in our industry of recruitment and staffing to be across the benefits of AI and automation, especially in what they can bring to the recruitment process?
Well, what automation allows companies to do is to trim down the costs, to optimize the processes, to bring extra efficiencies to their recruitment consultants. This is achieved through addressing some of the traditional kind of bottlenecks in recruitment processes, such as data acquisition, candidate engagement, searching, and essentially finding the relevant candidates to present to your clients. So yeah, in that regard, automation is a very interesting and actually quite an acute topic at this time.
So if we've got a lot of RCSA members and the broader recruitment and staffing industry starting to reassess their tech stack, what do you actually feel is essential for agencies to consider when they're making their tech choices moving forward, Sergei?
Well, for those agencies who have their recruitment CRM platforms already in place, then I would definitely recommend to look at how you manage the data in those systems, because any CRM product is only as good as the quality of data on it. So in that regard, you probably need to look at solutions that are essentially integratable. They need to have open APIs, or they need to exist on your providers' marketplaces. That enables you to pretty seamlessly pull whatever solution you require and connect it to your business processes. That's one thing. The other thing you need to look at, and we probably will talk a little bit later about this in more detail, but you need to look at how you actually engage with the candidates on your database. That is very relevant. It saves tremendous amounts of budgets, and this is something that companies should be looking at quite seriously.
I'd imagine with COVID-19, there unfortunately has been quite a rationalisation of the staff within recruitment and staffing firms. I read an article only the other day saying that pretty much everybody has to be hands-on now. There's no sort of management that aren't getting their hands dirty. But do you think that almost what I'd call the spilling of a whole heap of roles we'll see when the industry comes back and we start looking to re-resource, that we might see more automation and AI replacing the human function?
Absolutely, yes. With the current disruption due to COVID-19 global pandemic, we're seeing some immediate and substantial changes, of course. As you know, almost overnight, we've seen unemployment numbers creep up to nearly 1 million, I believe, in Australia alone. But what that means is that right now we are also in the middle of one of the biggest opportunities that the industry have ever seen. Companies, essentially the situation has flipped. Companies most severely affected by the downturn are quite understandably cautious about spending money, but even those with fewer jobs to fill are most likely handling increased volumes of applications. So now we're having all sorts of data coming in that in volumes that we haven't seen before. How do you handle that? So solutions like DaXtra Capture, for example, it's something that you definitely need to add to your tech stack, because that will allow you to seamlessly ingest this data into your database, and you will benefit from that once the economy recovers. I believe analysts are predicting that we will see recovery of the economy, or the beginning of the recovery of the economy as soon as Q3 this year. So when that starts happening, it will be incredibly competitive, and so companies will need to have the right solutions in their tech stack to find the relevant skill sets, to send them to the clients, and to be able to engage with these people.
Yeah, so I mean, would you say that DaXtra has even had to start changing the way it's looking at its products and solutions, even during the last 4 months since Covid-19 came about, or are you still pretty much comfortably just building out what you had on offer pre-Covid? I mean, have you had to change the way you think as well?
There are some changes that we implemented. We are currently rolling out some interesting solutions in the areas of candidate engagement, but our traditional solutions essentially, when we started the company, we were actually in the middle of a recession in the UK. So this kind of solution was that DaXtra provides is designed to kind of handle inefficiencies within the organization. So I think while sticking to the same principles, the same directions, we're looking at some new products and new features in our existing products as well.
And you're CEO of APAC, as I understand it, Sergei. Are you seeing much difference in the rollout of automation and AI within the DaXtra suite of services and offerings? Is it quite different to maybe other parts of the world outside of APAC?
We're dealing with AI. The flavor of AI we're dealing with is called natural language processing, and that is, of course, by definition, very language dependent. Now, being based in APAC, this is the region that is very, very diverse in languages. We have hundreds of languages here. Now, DaXtra had to adapt to this, of course, in order to be able to operate in this challenging market by introducing its current and in the future language capabilities. So we currently can parse, and the technology can literally understand resumes and jobs written in over 40 languages. And in Asia, we cover such languages as Chinese, both traditional and simplified, Japanese, Vietnamese, Thai, Korean, Malay, and of course English as well. So that is the must, because in order to be able to process this data, the technology needs to understand it. Something very interesting we're working on now and continuing to develop is cross-language matching. So obviously, if you have a job description in Chinese, then you don't want to miss out on relevant candidates that submitted their CVs in English or in Japanese. So our technology is beginning to be able to deliver such cross-language matching capabilities.
Okay. Given your insights into the APAC region, what can you share for agencies looking to broaden their horizons as COVID restrictions start to ease? I mean, what's really within the DaXtra suite, what do you think is going to be most appealing as we move out of the COVID-19 restrictions one day anyway?
Well, with the COVID situation we're in now, we're seeing increased volumes of resumes coming in, and these candidates are updating their email addresses, they're perhaps updating, they've changed their last names, they've added new skill sets. It's very important that you have automation solutions in place that can update your database automatically. Now, data enrichment and keeping your database current and up to date have always been bottlenecks for many decades in recruitment industry. And candidate data is like a carton of milk. It ages very quickly, turning talent databases in what Greg Savage calls candidate graveyards, and forcing recruiters to prefer paid job boards for candidate sourcing. Now, this is quite a waste of effort and money, I would say, that we're seeing in some cases up to 60 or in some worst cases up to 80% of the candidates who apply to recruiters for jobs posted on paid job boards are in fact already on the databases of our clients, but recruiters are not aware of this. So that's a waste of money. And that is, of course, great because candidates are delivering their updates, but without automation systems that would update the database, you just end up with a lot of duplicates on the database. So that needs to be addressed, and the current technology like DaXtra is able to do that. Now, our clients are also reporting that they have significant shifts in numbers of placements that come from their databases. In other words, it's important to try and monetize your database as much as possible. Now, in some cases, we're seeing increases from as little as 10% of placements coming from the internal database to as high as 60 or 70% of placements coming from the database after DaXtra is deployed. So you can do the maths. It's quite a significant efficiency gain.
Yeah, one of the things I'm noticing at the moment is that an increasing number of RCSA members are examining how they can leverage their database rather than going immediately to job boards and online employment marketplaces. Do you see that trend holding on and maybe even expanding? It's almost back to the future in some ways, Sergei.
It's absolutely, yes, you're right. The trend is expanding. The popularity of these solutions is growing, and what we're seeing now is there is a new breed of solutions coming on the market. Technologies like Smart AI in Australia, like Herefish in the US. These technologies help you to automatically keep engagement processes going with the candidates, because obviously you ideally, in order to be able to monetize your database as much as possible, just being able to match or find relevant skill sets on the database is not enough. These skill sets need to be up to date. So there are interesting technologies that in tandem with DaXtra would automatically generate short lists of candidates against newly created jobs, and then communicate the content of the job to the candidate, ask questions, perhaps automatically put interview slots, and bring all this updates information back into the database and alert recruiters. So, yeah, interesting times.
Look, I'm no rec technologist, but is there the opportunity for DaXtra to facilitate the sharing and integration across 1, 2, 3 different firms, the sharing of databases as well?
We actually do have some firms who do that. Typically, this happens within a group of companies, sort of under one umbrella. Technology is capable to do that. Whether the market is ready to do such sharing is another matter, of course.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of our members, certainly, and I think COVID-19 is facilitating this. They're a lot more comfortable and really operating as a community and sharing and what do they call co-opetition in many ways. And I wonder whether there is that opportunity to bring together databases to support one another. It may be just an idea to consider. In fact, when I last met you, were in Fiji, and the theme was the power of community. I wonder if we can impact communities and databases moving forward as well.
Yeah, we would be delighted to be engaged in something like this. And as I say, we have the technology that is capable of doing that. Currently, this technology, for example, allows our clients to simultaneously search not only their internal data, candidate data, but also tap into external sources with which they perhaps have valid accounts. And these external sources may not necessarily or don't necessarily have to be job boards or LinkedIn type sites. They can be other companies' databases who perhaps agree to share their data with their, in some cases, competitors. That would benefit everyone in the end.
And as we head to the end of our co-video, Sergei, if you look at your crystal ball, and what do you see in store for recruitment and staffing over the course of the next 12, 24 months? Are we going to see significant change, do you think?
There will be quite significant changes. I have no doubt about it. We're already seeing companies saying that, okay, after the pandemic is over, they will not be going back to strictly the same ways of working in terms of having swanky offices in CBDs, etc. Because what the situation has proven to us is that we're equally capable of working remotely. So that will stay as well. Taking broad view on the near to mid-term future, I think for the most part the industry is still on a clear path towards further consolidation in both the recruitment and RegTech sectors. Also, as more corporate organizations are bringing talent acquisition teams in-house, we will be seeing probably an increasing competition between recruitment firms and their own clients. And in particular in the RegTech space, most notably several relatively new technologies are gaining strongholds in this current shrinking economy. I already mentioned candidate engagement tools, that there is a greater demand for matching applications, reporting tools, chatbots. So all of this is quite exciting. I also think that, perhaps slightly longer than 12 months, but we're already seeing some signs that traditional bricks and mortar agency model will start giving way to more automated approach. More high-tech staffing firms are increasingly filling positions with minimal human effort. AI is currently allowing this, and intelligent automation is progressing at such a rapid pace that more and more positions will soon be filled autonomously in the coming few years, I would say.
Great. And before I let you go and enjoy the Dragon Boat racing, I understand it's a public holiday in Hong Kong at the moment. I always ask all of my co-video interviewees, what has been the most inspiring thing you've witnessed during the COVID-19 pandemic from your perspective?
Yeah, if anything, it's created a lot more work for us. So the most exciting thing is that we're seeing new opportunities now, and these new opportunities lead us to some new ideas and lead us to making some interesting decisions as well. Hopefully the right decisions, but we'll see how it goes when we roll them out. So yeah, as I say, exciting times. It's important to stay positive at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it sounds like DaXtra are in the right game, and you're really well suited to make lasting change into the future, whether it's through efficiency, engagement, or otherwise. But I certainly think you're in the right place at the right time, mate. And on that note, I thank you very much for joining me today, Sergei.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Good, mate. Thank you. And that's it. Thank you, Sergei Makhmodov from DaXtra Technologies, and we'll be back soon with another co-video with another insightful interviewee. Thank you.